Hey, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Mile High Game Guys board gaming podcast. I'm your host, Adrian.
I'm Zach.
And I'm Jeff.
And I'm back on an episode for the first time in
And we're in studio.
I only missed one episode.
Correct.
And because of the way the episodes came out, that was a very short period of time for listeners.
That's very true. It may seem only a couple days. Who knows?
It will feel, but it was actually like 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It has definitely felt like a while since I've been in here recording. Although it was interesting, the studio and everything was still set up for Game Guys. I thought it was going to be set up for Dungeon Delvers because I felt like I'd done that one more recently, but apparently I had not.
You have.
No, I don't think so.
I feel like you. I didn't say
I
you
know,
did.
that's kind of how I felt.
It,
I was
feels
surprised.
like most of the Dungeon Delvers have just moved away.
Only one.
Yeah, I know, but it feels like everyone.
Leander did have an outsized presence.
Yes.
No, I miss Leander. I hope he comes back for Cabin Con.
Oh, yeah.
Same.
It's around the corner. May, thinking first weekend of May.
Getting close.
I have to start going to be sleeping in a bunk room again. I don't care.
Yeah.
Those bunks were actually extremely comfy and hot. Weirdly hot.
Yeah, I've heard that the bunk rooms in general were just warm places.
Soft and very soft. Every one of those pillows were like nothing, which was not great.
Yeah. Just gonna have to bring your own pillow.
But also, we're directly underneath all of the like metal brewery chair on wood floor main gaming space.
Yeah.
So every time someone moved a chair, it was like fucking nails on chalkboard.
Yep.
You just get hammered enough and then you don't care anymore.
That's true.
Yeah. There you go.
Mike Jones knows that.
I never got to see Mike Jones consume nearly an entire bottle of whiskey in a hot tub.
He did not do that last
He
year.
made
He thought better
smarter
this time.
decisions.
Yes.
Yes.
I'm hoping now enough time has passed. It's like how there's like chemicals supposedly like that happen during childbirth to where like you don't fully remember the pain of childbirth. Otherwise, like no woman would ever have more than one child. It's like that for Mike Jones. It's just like 2 years later, he'll have forgotten the pain of the day after hot tub
like
boozing.
hangovers.
Yeah.
It's the chemicals in hangovers make you forget the last hangover, so you drink again.
Yes.
I see. And that's why you get the shakes.
The shakes.
The chemicals from drinking.
Yes. On all of that note, let's pretend that this is a board gaming podcast and talk about board gaming for a little bit. Jeff, you said you haven't really played anything since you and Zach recorded last.
Depends on how much you think fun packing your entire life is.
I mean, you know, for some people, that's a really good, like, Tetris-like game of fit the pieces in the containers.
It's mostly all of my board games aren't going to fit. I'm going to have to get rid of a lot of this shit.
It sounds like we need to do an anniversary with a massive raffle.
Very true.
And it's just me. It's just my games, and that's enough.
I don't know. Have you seen the fucking pile I've got in the corner?
And I've got some that
All right, I think that's going to need to happen. I've got Saturdays off now. We'll have to schedule a...
What was that?
Got a Saturday every once in a while?
Every 3 weeks.
I usually... My schedule is almost always... For any given day, I get 2 of them off in a row, and then I work 2 of them in a row.
Uh-huh.
And then I'm off 2 of them in a row, and then I work 2 of them in a row. For any given day, that's roughly the timeline. Like, for instance... I was working the last 2 Mondays.
Yeah.
I'm off today. I'm off next Monday. And then I work the following 2 Mondays.
Yeah.
So I have more than one Saturday off is the point.
What was that spot down by like Santa Fe? Aunt and Julie live down there.
Yeah, they go there a lot.
Yeah. But that had a really good back room that would be great for like a Saturday event space.
It would.
And their beer list was great.
Their beer list was pretty good.
Yeah. Just saying.
Might be a good spot to consider.
Yes.
Anyway,
I haven't played anything because I've been packing.
Long story short, you have not played anything.
No.
Zach, what have you played?
I did play Blood Bowl teams that I forgot I had.
That's good.
There you go.
There was a box of the 40K Conquest LCG, and I was like, why is there stuff in here? I put it all in a binder, and it was like an orc and human Blood Bowl team that I had just thrown in there at some point or
there
another.
You go. Yeah,
I was just like, oh, okay.
More Blood Bowl.
I have a lot of 3rd edition humans and orcs.
Let's see. On Wednesday.
Wednesday.
First thing I played was some Hanamikoji, I think. No, it was Cribbage was the first thing I played.
Cribbage was first, yes.
Cribbage was first, and that was one of those games where I was lucky to get skunked.
Yes.
Lucky to get skunked.
There's definitely a real chance of me getting.
Yeah, you were barely across the double skunk line.
Yes, it was. Wes just kept getting double run after double run after double run, and I kept getting, oh, here's 2 points. Oh, here's 2 points.
Yeah.
Oh, here's no points. Oh, it's my crib. 2 points total. Again, great, awesome. I just was garbage cards.
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
Yeah. After that, I played some Hanamikoji. Wes and I just played. That one went 3 rounds. And I have to say, I love when I can get in a position with the when you're giving the 4 cards. So on the like for that one, it's the 2 card. You put 2 stacks of 2 cards, and your opponent chooses one, and then you get the other one. It's great that you can put them in such a way that it's like, here you go. Anyone that you choose is worse for you, and the one you don't choose is better for me. And it was both sides was that. It was like, Wes, you could take this, but this one works out better for me. But if you take this one, then I get this one, and it's better. It was great to get it put in that position twice in there of just being like, it just worked out great. Here you go. And then, ended up winning that one from that, which was nice.
Okay.
And then the last thing I played that night was I busted out my copy of Hanabi. Had not played that in years. Wes and I decided to play 2-player of it.
Oh, yeah.
And
I do remember
we played
you guys
3
play that.
games of that, and the first 1 to 2 games were very much not relearning games, but like getting back into the groove of like,
oh yeah, that's how you think things through.
Yes, there were. I will say after having played it so long, I know previously, like when you first learn in the game, it's like no matter what, you don't want explosions at all. Both of the first 2 games ended with explosions, just because it was like, well, I'm still gonna go with my gut on a lot of those things. And and I was like, oh,
follow your gut.
Yeah. But then not remember, like, it's like, oh, you totally told me this because it's going to be a 2, and you play it and it's a 4. And then you immediately think 100% no shit. It's a 4. You told me it was this color for these specific reasons, blah, that sort of shit that you're like, God damn it. I forgot about that. The second and third level thinking that you can get in that game.
Yeah.
But then as soon as you play the card and you see why they told you that, then it all just, the synapse started firing again. And it's just like, oh shit. But then we ended up, the last one, I think we got 22. It was the blue, we fucked up a 3 because he just couldn't tell me right. Like he never had a chance to tell me it when it really mattered. And so we lost on that one. I mean,
yeah.
But we got everything else all the way to 5s, which was nice.
Okay.
Yeah. What about you?
So I am going to go back 2 weeks to start. This is going back to our game night at Strange. So I played a bunch of different stuff there, and I don't remember half of it because my memory is fucked.
Mm-hmm.
But a couple games that I did remember thanks to some coaxing. You guys are like, hey, didn't you play a train game with Mike Jones? It was like, oh, fuck, yeah, that's right, I did. So me, Megan, and Mike Jones played Southern Rails, which is another cube rails game, kind of in the same vein as like a Irish Gauge or an Iberian Gauge from the Capstone line. It's a little bit older. It's from Rio Grande Games. And it is one, so you, it like some of the other cube rail games, like there's no money involved. Like you never have money. In this one, you score points at various predetermined points in the game. Essentially whenever
time-based rounds, or
whenever any train hits their 10th track.
Okay.
So you keep placing track for the 5 trains, I think, maybe 6, until all of them but one has hit 10, and then that's the end of the game. So there's
this would be a winsome games.
Yes.
Age of Steam, etc. And Irish Gauge. All of those.
Yeah.
So but the pre-Capstone stuff.
Yes.
Gotcha.
Capstone, like some of these games were getting harder to find, these winsome games. That's why Capstone started that whole line.
Yeah, the winsome games were originally like mail order or something like that.
Some of them are like print and play, like, hey, use some generic cubes and print this map and then play.
But some of them ended up being very valuable because they were very good games, but they were impossible to get because it was this one-time mail-in order only thing.
Yes.
And you didn't even know what you were getting when you ordered it or something like that.
Yeah, or you didn't have much information. Yeah. But yeah, so basically the scoring for each round, so the map is a very loose approximation of the South. like there's cities of like North Florida, Georgia, South Carolina, Alabama, Mississippi, and I think maybe Tennessee. Like it's vague. There's no state lines, and things are definitely not geographically the most like making sense of things. Like some cities will appear on the map further north than cities that, but rough approximation. So you're building tracks. So at the start of the game, everybody gets to pick one of the 6 stocks. It is 6, I remember, because it's like 3 and 3 for the stocks. So you pick a stock, and then like Jeff would pick a stock, and then I'd pick a stock. And the stocks don't refresh initially. There's one stock for each, so we each get a different company. Then it's snake drafts. I get to pick a second, and then Jeff, and then you. But it refreshes between that snake, so there you can like start doubling up to where like I could try to get 2 of my same company and be locked in on it, or I could like end up with like one of mine and one of Jeff's company or whatever. In our game, I think it ended up where like in that first round, I did end up with like 2 shares of my company, and then Megan and Mike Jones each had 1 share of the same 2 companies. So they were like more invested. And I was immediately like, oh, this is probably going to go bad for me, because like they now have massive shared incentives, whereas no one will want to work with me. So then you start, whenever you have a new company, you can place the cube anywhere on the map. But then once you have placed a cube, all of the other cubes have to follow off of that one, like you're building track. And the map is divided into hexes, and some of the hexes are like cities, towns. There's
depending
like,
on the color, or
there's like 4 colors of them. There's
red, yellow, blue, and green. Seems like green are the most.
Exactly. And what size they are determines like how many cubes can go in that city. So some of them can only hold 1. I think that's green, and that's most of the board.
Blue is 2, red is 3, yellow is 4.
Yeah. Yellow
I only see 1 city that's yellow.
Yeah, Atlanta. And yellow is infinite. So it can hold any amount of cubes.
Atlanta, famously at the very southern tip of a mountain range.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, actually, kind of. It's rapidly turned into foothills at that point.
Yeah.
But
in this game, impassable.
Yes. So whenever
expect someone to walk over foothills, no, thank you.
So whenever there's a scoring round, basically you score points for any if you have shares in any company that's like over 10 track, which just cannot happen on the first one, or over 11 or more, so it can't happen on the first scoring. Then there's one for like least valuable share, company with the most value. And then like what company has the most cubes in like green cities, yellow cities, or not yellow, green, red, and blue cities. So there's different ways to score points based on where your cities fall. And so it's kind of a balancing act of like sometimes you want to like speed through a train's tracks to get it to score while you're still in an advantageous position, where somebody else might be trying to stall the scoring to try and get themselves in a more advantageous position with a different train company. It was a really interesting game. I really liked a lot of the way like you could have a company shares and kind of sit on it and wait for a time when it was really good for you to start it. Like wait for somebody to be building in a way that you could like all of a sudden start your company and block a green city that they were clearly building towards, or things like that. You know, or like when somebody gets 1 cube in the red, I think it is that can have 2. Then you can start it in there so that it blocks it for anybody else going in, things like that. So there were some interesting like blocking mechanisms that you could do.
Gotcha.
I did really well with my timing early. I scored on the first scoring round by placing a cube in Atlanta, which rocketed my share price up. So I had like highest share value, and I scored on a couple other things. So I jumped out to a pretty early lead.
Famously, that usually, if you have an early lead in a game, you almost always have then a late lead, and you win the game, right?
Correct. Yeah. You never stall out in the middle of the game or anything.
Never. Especially in a train game.
Yeah.
You only get more money.
Yeah. I did end up doing really good overall. Mike Jones was able to, because of my mid-game stall a little bit, I believe he jumped ahead of me, and he won by 1 point over me. Megan looked like she was in a position where she was going to make a big push and win, but she just she scored really good on the last couple, but like couldn't quite get there. It is definitely a game where like if you get yourself in a strong enough position early with a company, it can be hard for people, I think, to kind of come back. Oh yeah, we did tie because at one point we thought we were the same, but then we realized that we'd not scored a point for somebody. I don't remember. So we tied. And there is no tiebreaker. It is, so Paul would hate it because it's one of those games where like, if there's a tie, multiple players win.
Yeah.
We just gave Mike Jones the win, so that's fine. So there wasn't no tiebreaks there.
Yeah, the tiebreaker is
Adrian misremembering.
The tiebreaker is the first person to say the other person won on a podcast. But yeah, so that was Southern Rails. It was really good. I liked it. I would happily play it many more times.
I've enjoyed the Cube Rail games I've played.
Yes.
I don't think I would enjoy 18XX, but I do enjoy the Cube Rail. Mostly because it contains an 18XX into a sane amount of time.
Yeah.
And less Excel requirements.
Yes, they satisfy a similar place in my brain, but definitely Cube Rail games are infinitely more accessible.
Yes. I think even Raccoon Tycoon kind of fits a little bit of that, but only with like the stock side of things.
Yeah.
Yes.
It gets compared as kind of an 18XX light
Yes.
kind of a thing occasionally.
And now there's Lizard Wizard.
Mhm.
Oh, jeez. The other thing I played at Strange that I'll talk about is I finally, for the first time ever, which is kind of surprising to me because it's been a popular game for a long time, but I finally played Strike, which I think I've kind of stayed away from it because it seemed like just random bullshit dice game.
Dice in a bowl.
Dice in a bowl.
That was because when we were
I believe it's a gladiator tournament, sir.
No, I know, but in our I think it was the first Gen Con that I went to, so in 2017, there was a Strike tournament because half of the people had like all the official Strike items and everybody, like the other people just had some dice in a bowl because they were like, it's like there's no theme, there's a bunch of, and so then it was like the winner of each one of those, like it was a tournament, and then the winner for each win against each other, and then that was the true, is it gladiators in arena or is it dice in a bowl? I do not remember which way it went.
I don't remember, but yes, there's been a lot of like, well, there was back, in 2017 when the world was more sane and like we could just like pretend that everything was hunky dory in board games.
Mm-hmm.
There was big arguments with air quotes about the dice in a bowl versus needing the official Strike arena. I will say the arena is oval, which I think I might fall if I was.
It's oval, and doesn't it have like little step things?
It's got little ridges.
Yeah.
It's got a bouncy mat in the. It's like a little rubbery mat in the bottom that gives the dice a little bowl, a little bounce.
Well, yeah, I want to say that's probably a newer addition than the one that we saw,
and that could be. It was nice though. I liked it.
There's like a Harry Potter version that came out in 2020.
Why not?
Impact Battle of Elements in 2018. And, Strike.
Yeah. So that one we played like 4 and 5 player games of it. It was kind of a bunch of people like as they kind of came and went early in the night. And at one point we were playing and Eric was waiting for Ryan to get there so they could play Arkham. And Eric is bullshit at this game. Like he would just like there'd be like 3 dice in the thing and they'd all be 3 different numbers and he'd take his one and he'd like do a weird little toss that would hit 1 dice or hit like 2 of them and it would roll them to where like he got 2 pairs and pulled them out. And so like when you're playing Strike, the basic thing is on your turn you roll at least 1 die in there. If you make any matches, you take all of those matches and it moves to the next player. If at the start of your turn when it moves to you, there are no dice in the bowl, you have to roll all of your dice. And the dice, the 1s or X's, and anytime a 1 comes up, that dice is just removed from the game.
Oh, okay. Is it about like whoever's left?
Yes, who lasts the longest. So he would do shit like he'd have 3 dice in the bowl at the start of his turn. He'd roll 1 dice, knock the 3 around just right to where he'd end up with 2 pairs, which he'd then take. So then on my turn, there'd be nothing, and I'd have to roll all of my dice. And then I had multiple times where I would roll all 5 of my dice. Like me and who else was it? There was somebody to the left who got super fucked too.
You'd roll 5 dice, and it was like 1 through 5.
It was like 1 through 5, or like 2 through 6 or something.
Yeah.
Like, but anyway, like you wouldn't get anything back. It's like, oh great, first roll of the game, I'm just completely out. But then like there's a shit ton of dice in there, so then the next player gets to roll and is like, oh well, I got a fucking 4 of a kind.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. So that happened.
It sounds like a bad strategic move from you.
It happened multiple times. That
you gotta get better at your dice strategy.
Yeah, clearly. I got to change my rolling.
Yeah, look,
I tried doing his little like toss roll, like because it seemed in the rules say like you can just drop it or like you can roll it, like there's no like you have to get it to tumble.
Yeah.
I tried doing his little like throw move, but mine it would just hit the mat in the bottom of the bowl and bounce out. And if it's out, it's just removed from the game. It's the same as rolling an X.
Gotcha.
So it'd be like, boop, well.
Whose copy was it?
I believe it was Mike Jones's.
Okay, I need to try that at some point. I've been meaning to.
I liked it a bunch. It was fun. So, other than that, it's strange. We played like some code names or some like newer people who showed up. And we had like a big group, so we played some code names, which I hadn't played in a long time. That was really fun. I'd forgotten how good code names can be. And I played some other stuff, but I don't really remember what. It was a very casual new person night. I was also drinking heavily because it was strange and I didn't have to work the next day. So I was like, I'm going to have a $70 bar tab off of mugs.
I wish.
Yeah.
Man,
well, their mugs are like 10 or $11 now.
Really?
Yeah. They're like $10.
They're not any bigger pours, are they?
They're 8. Every time I've gotten it, it's 7 or 8.
Yeah.
Maybe stop getting shitty IPAs. They're probably
charging more for the IPA.
Maybe, I don't know. But yeah, my tab was like $60 for like 5 beers. I feel like.
Okay.
And then I tip heavily because I like Tyler. And Strange. So anyway, this past Wednesday we went to Westfax Brewing, and I played some more games there. So started off playing Rail Pass. See, I knew I was forgetting one that I really liked, but now I don't remember what Rail Pass was.
Perfect. Okay. Well,
talk about it. Chat me a brief description to refresh my brain while I talk about a different game, Mike Jones.
Oh, is that passing one where you have the different?
Oh yes. Yeah. Oh my God. Yes. No.
Yeah, I've played that one.
Thank you, Jeff, for showing me Rail Pass on the tablet there. Yeah, so Rail Pass is a train dexterity game that is fucking amazing. So it's cooperative bullshit dexterity game. And basically, you have your little player board, and you've got a spot for a big train and a spot for a small train. And then you've got a row up at the top for a bunch of cubes. And everybody has I think it's 10 cubes per player color. And you basically everybody gets some of everyone else's. Like you don't have any of your own. You mix them all up and then you put them out randomly on your tracks. And then you can load your trains from the top left or bottom right of the two tracks. So the bottom track is going from the right, top one's going from the left, and you kind of meet in the middle. You're loading them onto your trains and then passing them to other players. And the goal is to get everybody's cubes back to that color.
Right, but you're passing them like by people adjacent to you, right? You can't just pass it across.
Exactly. So depending on the number of players, the rule book has different layouts. Like there's things you can always pass the person to your left and right, and then there's like a bridge you can put in the middle to like make a connection in a bigger game. And then there's like two tunnels.
But you have to put it through.
You have to put it through the bridge, or like there's two tunnels that come out that go between somebody, and you have to pass it like through the tunnel. You can only ever have one train in a hand at a time. So you can't like somebody at one point was playing. We got very loose with the rules. It was late and we were drinking. Yeah. But they had like a train between their index and middle and between their middle and rings. They were holding like two trains in one hand. I think one person at one point had like almost 3 trades just holding that. It was like, okay, come on, guys. We got to like pretend to play right.
Yeah. Asterisks is all I'm hearing.
Yeah. So we played multiple rounds and we continually played more and more correctly.
Oh, okay.
So you have to park.
That's always what happens when you start drinking.
Yeah.
Shockingly. Well, when you're learning a new game, sometimes like you play and you're like, wow, that was really easy. What did we do wrong? Oh, this is what we did wrong. Okay. Or it's like that one, like it was like the first game where the person was holding like 3 in their hand. And it was like, okay, so in the future you can't do that. So we're going to play more correct.
I didn't know I couldn't do that.
Yeah. So you to take cubes off of trains, you have to set them on your board in the spots. So you have the 2 parking spots, one for a big train, one for a small train. You can put a small train in the big train spots. You can have 2 small trains parked, and then you can offload any cubes into your area for your color, and you can load new cubes before you pass it on. And it's a timed game. It starts, and this is this is a rule we did not learn until after later that evening. Mike Jones texted Megan and I and was like, "Oh, I learned why we were having such an easy time because we never ran out of time. Like we always got all of the cubes delivered that were in the, like some would fall off of trains and they get lost.
Were you not saying toot toot enough?
We said toot toot so much.
Okay.
Toot, 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 toot. It's kind of like that Magic Maze with the passive aggressive little pawn. The toots got passive aggressive.
Passive aggressive toots.
Toot.
Okay.
Toot.
That toot sounds a lot like fuck you.
Yeah. Hey, fucking pay attention, dude.
Yeah.
No, so what we played wrong is if you play with like the minimum number of players, you start at 10 minutes of time, but then for every additional player, you remove a minute of time. So we were playing a 6-player game, so we should have been playing like 6 or 7 minutes, and we were playing 10 minutes. So we had we had an exceptional amount of time to do things.
Gotcha.
So still asterisks on all 3 of the games that we played.
Sounds right.
But holy shit, it was so much fun. Really liked it. 6 is probably a bit much because it's like unless you played with like people who really know it. Huh?
There's not a lot of
votes.
There's 13 total, but 8 and 5 are for 6-player and 3-player as best for this game.
Okay.
Yep.
3-player I could see working really well. It's interesting, like the 2-player, there's some maps for 2-player where basically like you have to like pass to yourself. Like you have like 1 and then 2 and then it shares and then they have another one. So like there's a weird one there and then there's one that was like a weird snake. So it's like it would to get to my far end. I can see that. It'd have to be like passing it back and forth like 3 times. It was really interesting. I liked it. It was so much fun. I am glad that Mike Jones is in chat to remind me about Rail Pass.
Only like $30.
Yep.
Yeah. Loved it. So now on to Westfax. So we played Cascadia to start. It was Cascadia. It's fine. We played with new players. I won. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on it. I like Cascadia a bunch. It's a good little tile layer. Then we played a 4-player Spirit Island. So it was me, Megan, Paul, and Eric. And we played with Eric had gotten the Horizons, the Target exclusive one. So we all 4 picked spirits from that game, which
comes with 5, right?
Comes with 5 spirits,
and normally you can only play 2 or 3 player, like in Horizons, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So it comes instead of having the island boards be their own individual boards that you can kind of mix and match. It has a normal style like board game board that's double sided. One side is 2, the other side is 3.
Gotcha.
You could in theory play a 1-player because you can just play on one board of it. But otherwise, 2 or 3 players. The spirits we had talked about on a previous episode when they'd announced this, that the one of the things they talked about was that the spirits were going to be a little bit more straightforward, maybe not simplest, not simpler.
Yeah.
But like just kind of straightforward.
Less complex.
So we were curious to play them, how that would play, like playing with a fairly experienced group of 4 players. Turns out,
I feel like fairly is sort of
an understatement.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like breaking the difficulty to make it harder level of difficulty.
Yeah.
I would just say treat how difficult the game was with them with a grain of salt.
Yes. So we played level 6 difficulty, I think.
Out of 11.
And we smoked it.
Yeah.
Like it was probably the most lopsided game of Spirit Island I have had in a long time in favor of the spirits. Like the invaders really never got going.
Were you playing specific invaders or
we were playing, I think it was Scotland. We were playing a specific invader. I don't remember.
Did they
who
add
it was.
new nationalities? Or
I don't know if they did in Horizons. I don't think
it was
so.
Just new spirits.
Okay. I don't think there's scenarios. I don't think there. It's really intro to Spirit Island, so it's fairly simple, fairly straightforward spirits, and then just the game. But yeah, we wrecked it. So I was a like Scorching Sands spirit, and my big thing was whenever I have a totem, which is the 2 presence in the spot. Every invader had -1 health to a minimum of 1. So I just made little big totems all around the board. And then Paul's character was really good at moving invaders. So he would just move them to wherever my totems were. So they'd all have -1 health. And then it'd make them so easy to kill. We were just wiping them out like crazy.
Gotcha.
And it's all cardboard instead of minis, right?
And plastic.
Yeah,
right?
well, we were playing with like he took the spirit,
with the new spirits.
Yeah, he took the spirits and put them in his regular copy.
Okay.
So we played with his full copy of everything.
So Paul broke down and just bought the
No, this was Eric's.
Eric's
bought it,
copies.
which
Okay.
Paul said he was glad that Eric did it so he didn't have to. And we're debating about just scanning Eric's player boards and printing them off because
it's literally just the player boards,
that's the
right?
only thing we care about is the 5 new spirits. Like, and you can't get them in the US. So the new Kickstarter dropped, and we're going to talk about it not this episode, but a few down the line after they've revealed some more spirits. So there's actually something to talk about. But in that one, if you don't live in the US, you can order an add-on of the 5 spirits.
No, it's a copy of the game.
Oh, that's right. It is a full copy.
It is
of
a
the
full
game.
copy of the game because you could not get it outside of the US. And in the US, you have to go to Target to get
That's correct.
Correct.
Target exclusive for like 2 years or
a
something.
year.
A year. But yeah, the spirits all played really good. I thought they were all really interesting spirits. They definitely were a little bit more straightforward, but a lot of that straightforwardness I feel like came from they just changed wording of things. Like they had little reminders on the boards. Like for some of your innate powers, it was like activate every step that you can pay for in order top to bottom. You know, or like we kept joking, like Paul's during his growth phase had a thing where it could move an invader, and it had a note that was like, remind other players that this is your growth phase and not fast action phase, so they don't think you've gotten ahead of them.
Right.
And so then, of course, he was being very facetious about that the whole game. I know everyone is shocked by Paul being facetious about
everybody. I'm still in my growth phase, but I'm still going to move this guy.
Yeah. Well, guys, this movement was my growth phase.
Yeah.
It's my growth phase.
Was this devouring teeth lurk underfoot?
No, I don't think anybody played Devouring Teeth.
Okay.
That was the one that got left out.
I see.
That one is just graboids, which Megan was like, it's a tremor. And I was like, Megan, no, it's not a tremor. It's from the movie Tremors, but it's a graboid.
Yeah.
It's like xenomorphs from the movie Aliens.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Innate powers perform all thresholds reached in order of the same type target land.
Yeah. So I really, I did like that. I think that that's going to be really good for like teaching new players. Like I would feel very confident handing any of these spirits, like they're good spirits, they're capable spirits. I'd feel very comfortable handing that to a new player and being like, hey, you know, here you go. And then it like shows them and it has the clear text.
Mm-hmm. And you're going to be like, here is your scanned copy of this.
Are there
Enjoy.
cards?
I'll print it on nice.
There are cards though that are along with those spirits.
Yeah.
Okay.
They're innate cards and stuff. I don't think the decks in New Horizons are just the exact same deck from.
Yeah, I would assume.
Which is the really frustrating
Is it
thing
only
about
4
this. Like
cards per spirit then?
4 to 5,
Okay.
I think, depending on the spirit. It's really frustrating that there's no way for anybody. Like I don't need anything. I don't need all the card. I have the nice wooden tokens for everything, so I don't need the cardboard tokens. I don't need the cards for the powers, the major and minor powers. All I need is those innate spirit cards and the player board. That's all I need. And I don't want to spend, and it's not even the spending the money that's the problem.
It's
for
wasting
me. It's the waste of the production and all the resources. Like it really bothers me. So it's frustrating, but
One
more. That's all I played. So we can move into some.
I got one more.
Okay.
Just because I wanted to talk about it last.
What is it?
It is Marvel Snap, the online collectible card game that's on the phone that just got released.
Okay.
So, Jeff, did you try it out at all?
I literally played the first tutorial and have gotten nowhere past that.
Okay. Did you not interested or?
I just have not had the time to go anywhere any deeper into it.
So it got released about a week ago or so, I believe.
And it's I cannot escape the ads pushing this game so goddamn hard.
Yes, it is a crazy amount of them. This is from the studio of the guy that created Hearthstone, right?
He was the
he was involved in a major capacity.
Yeah, Ben Brode specifically.
Gotcha. And they kept touting how it was like quick games and it was like small decks, but still like strategic play and stuff like that.
Second Dinner, I think, is the name of the new studio that he created in 2018 when he left.
Gotcha.
Where he's chief creative officer.
Okay. So I booted it up and started playing it, and then I was just like, it doesn't play like a normal like Hearthstone or any of those other ones, and I was like, what is it? And then I realized it was like, oh shit, this is Smash Up, the game. It is Smash Up in a Marvel retheming, but with a couple key differences. One, it is very quick. One of my main problems with Smash Up was always how long it took to finish, and this game, I would say 5 minutes would be a long game in this.
Yeah.
It is 6 rounds, and each round is just like you draw a card and then you play one, right?
Mm-hmm.
And there are 3 different locations, and when you start off the game, they have like each of these locations have, like in Smash Up, like they have some sort of gimmick to them of like you can't play big cards here, or you can't play little cards, or after a certain amount of time you can't play any cards here, or if you don't have cards here you'll get energy, that like just various things. And the first one is revealed on the first round, and then the second's the second, and the third is the third.
Yeah, the locations seem interesting.
Yes. And you have a bunch of, like, I think they said like over 200 Marvel cards, but you have a deck of 12, which is very small, but it makes sense because you're usually only going to be playing 6 to 7 of them.
Yeah.
But on your turn, you start with 1 energy, and then the next turn you're going to get 2, and then 3, and then at the end of the last round you'll have 6 energy, and cards can cost anywhere from 1 to 6.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them are very straightforward, like there's one you start off with is Quicksilver. He just always starts off in your deck if you have him in your opening hand.
Okay.
He costs 1. He has 2 energy to him. But and then like you can go all the way towards like Hulk, who costs 6 energy, but he has 12.
He's just
12
huge.
strength. Yeah, he's just big. He doesn't have any skills.
Powers.
Yeah, it's just he's very powerful. Other ones are like a good amount of them, especially they're themed in interesting ways. So a lot of all the Guardians of the Galaxy characters that I've seen so far have had like Star-Lord he has 2 power, but if your opponent when you play him down and then you reveal him, because each of you plays a card down and then it gets revealed.
Mm-hmm.
When it's revealed, if an opponent played the card at your location, then that character gets like +3 power.
Yeah.
So it's like trying to be like, I guess you're going to go here, like where like all the way to like Gamora is 7 power, but if someone played at that location, you get an additional 5 power.
Okay.
Right. And then other ones are like Nightcrawler can move once, so you can move to a location, because normally once you play at a location, that's it.
Yeah.
There's like Mr. Fantastic, who has an ongoing ability to increase the locations to his left and right up by 2. So it's like you want to play him in the center, but sometimes you can't,
Yeah.
But it's all about positioning and, just trying to make a deck that has like some good, interesting combos. So like one of them is Odin has his on reveal, do the on reveal for all of the other cards in this location. So you want to have cards that have those, or there's other ones that are like your ongoing cards have more power, so you want to build your deck around that. But it is fairly quick games, and I've been enjoying it so far.
Okay.
And it has all that battle pass sort of things. I went through the initial one.
I assume you can buy packs or something?
No, so you don't buy packs, but you can. I think you can buy variants of cards if you want, but normally it's just about playing the game is going to earn you like levels that'll unlock cards, and then you can also get. Right now, I've seen a battle pass for October, I guess, that'll get you like the what's his name, Miles Morales, Spider-Man, and some of the other ones, and some variants on like Spider-Woman and things.
Yeah, it seems like you're just unlocking art.
Yeah, so you can upgrade the art, because it starts with just because it's a phone card game, it can do things like once you upgrade it to rare or uncommon, it has like a page break or an image break. So now part of the character is outside of the confines of the card.
Mm-hmm.
And then if you make it rare, then it becomes 3D. So you're moving it. And it has like a 3D effect to it, like you're moving your phone. And then if you make it epic, then it has like movement to it. That's as far as I've gotten. But it seems, it seems quick, which is really nice.
Yeah.
And it's something you can just go pop out,
play.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've literally only done the first tutorial.
Gotcha. At first I was like,
and you win by having 2 of 3 locations.
Correct. So after the end of the 6th round, it's you have whoever has the most control. So if you have 2 out of 3, you win. If you tie in areas, if you tie and then you both have 1 and 1, then it's whoever has the most power. So
Okay.
yeah. And a lot of those endgame ones, you can get some pretty. So like Iron Man doesn't have any innate power on himself, but wherever you play him, the power of that
Location.
the power of location doubles.
Okay.
So if it's just 1, it goes to 2, but if it's 10, it goes to 20.
I see.
Yeah.
He doubles your power in that location.
Correct. Yes. He doesn't have that power on himself.
Yeah.
And there is some amount of like destroying other cards or reducing their power, but it's mainly about trying to figure out strategize about playing here versus playing over there.
Yeah.
Tactics, that sort of stuff. So
You want the higher number in the location more than their number.
correct.
Okay.
That's it.
Cool.
It's fun. And it's free so far. Although now that I've gotten past the first like stack of
Tutorial things.
tutorial level things, it's like now you can pay for the premium pass if you
You
want.
want to get that premium battle pass?
Yeah.
$40.
It's only $10
For now.
for now.
I was thinking of Overwatch 2's
Yeah.
battle pass, which
There
is
are
like $40.
there are
Sounds
things
about
you can
right.
purchase. I think you can just like purchase gold and then like gold you can just grab cards,
Yeah.
but you can
Upgrade.
still earn cards. You can still earn that gold by just playing. So
Yeah.
I
Until
see.
you can't.
Until you can't.
And then
Until you
they're like,
can't.
then they start selling $20 skins.
Yep.
Which is absurd.
it is.
It's always been absurd, but then Fortnite did it, and now everyone else is doing it.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
I still remember when Skyrim had that the skin for the horse and everybody laughed at him.
That was Oblivion.
That's what I meant to say.
Mhm.
Sorry.
Elder Scrolls
yeah, it
would
was-
have been a safer bet. If you didn't.
My lack of interest in those games, I don't care. It's fine.
Yeah.
Whatever.
God, I
That was-
spent
that
so
was
much
the-
time. I think I spent more time in
I think it was-
Oblivion than Liz Truss spent as PM. I think that might be my game for that stat.
I see.
Um,
That would have been a 360 launch game. I think Oblivion was pretty early on there.
Did you play 1,000 hours or more?
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, because I think that's the amount of time you needed to play a game to have done it longer than Liz Truss was
an hour
prime
and
minister.
44 days, right? So that's 1,056 hours.
Mm.
Yeah, if it wasn't Oblivion, it was definitely Fallout 4 or 3. Fallout 3, the good Fallout.
1,000 hours. Wow.
I definitely had thousands of hours in Fallout.
That's
3.
impressive.
It's sad.
World of Warcraft.
That's days. That's like hundreds of days.
Mine is like hundreds of days.
Yeah.
In World of Warcraft.
I remember after a year of playing World of Warcraft, I looked and I added up all of the time spent on my characters, and it was 100 days. And I was like, that was a third of my entire time in that year was playing World of Warcraft.
I think I have over a year played on one of my characters.
I at this point, because I've lost a lot of old save files for like Oblivion and Fallout 3 and stuff. My most played in terms of hours is only 500 in the 500s.
Yeah, I think Dota 2 is my most played that I can see the hours for anymore. Heroes of New Earth, which is shut down. I don't even know how many hours I had in that.
Yeah.
I have no idea what that is.
That was Dota before Dota 2.
Wasn't Dota before Dota 2?
So the guy that made Dota
uh-huh.
went and made this game with
Okay.
another company and then left them to go make Dota 2 with Valve.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So a lot of the characters from Heroes of New Earth have been ported to Dota 2 under different like character names and
Okay.
stuff, but they were originally from Heroes of New Earth because he was making new heroes there
Gotcha.
that then ended up in Dota 2
Okay.
much later.
Gotcha. I think if I added up the time spent in my top 10 most played on Steam, I'd probably be over the 1,000. Well, I would be well
much.
over the
Yeah.
1,000.
I'm not. I think the highest in my Steam is either no, it's not Hades. It's probably Slay the Spire with like 230 hours.
I
Hunt.
had a great Slay the Spire run on my night shift last night.
Nice.
Hunt Showdown will soon overtake Dota 2 in my hours played.
I don't know what that is either.
It's kind of like so it's from Crytek of the Crysis folks.
Okay.
It's a 3-player like battle royale, but only like 12 players at most on a map. And it's like 1895 era weapons, so it's all like single action, double action revolvers, like lever action rifles. But it's also like Louisiana swamps, like demon zombies, sort of like flame monsters.
Oh, I remember playing that a little bit.
And then you have to go to different like locations around the map to find clues because you're trying to hunt down a boss. And then where the boss is gets like the map closes off depending on which clues you get. It'll close off sections of the map. And it's all about like auditory signals of like people shooting in the distance. You can hear the shots like from the other side of the map. Or if someone spooks like a group of crows into the air, people can hear that from a distance and know where like other hunters and stuff are.
Okay.
So it's all, and then when you all get in the same compound, and the compounds are fairly huge, like trying to like sneak around and get like angles on people because it's real easy to kill someone with bullets in this game, like real people, really. But it also has like weird kind of like high tech stuff, like let's say Will Smith's Wild Wild West of like.
So that was 30 years before this.
Yes. But like a Mosin Nagant rifle with an auto loader that goes fully automatic. An Avtomat, if you will. But because it's a Mosin Nagant with an automatic auto loader, you fire in 3-round bursts and it just goes bah, 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 like all over the fucking place, and you can never hit anything unless you're like right in front of them, and it may as well be a shotgun at that point. But they have a lot of weird, they have a lot of weird stuff like that, or like turning certain weapons into clubs. Like you cut the barrel off and cut the stock down on a Mosin, and now it's just kind of like this weird little sawed-off handheld thing that's also a club.
Oh my god!
Yeah, and then you put a drum in it.
Oh my god!
A drum. Yeah, so it's that kind of thing. And then every weapon has like penny shot or slugs or incendiary rounds or poison rounds, or you have a crossbow, but instead of shooting a crossbow bolt, it's shooting a shotgun shell. So when the crossbow hits you, the shell goes off and just hits you with a fucking shotgun bolt, shot bolt. Yeah, so it's that kind of game. It's kind of, and you're fighting weird monster, and it's PvPvE.
Okay.
And I've played a lot of that fucking game. That's great. I think it's hitting like even peaks this many years later. Player counts.
Which, speaking of peak, I saw that Steam recently had 30 million people on at the same time.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
That's a lot of people. Megan and I are playing a lot of Raft together lately.
That hit 1.0, right?
Yeah, it hit 1.0, and so we're going back because now it's story complete. And so
she was just playing The Long Dark, which has been complete for a while now.
Yeah, and they just had a big announcement for it where like they're gonna have its first paid DLC in a while. Where like
because it was all
ever,
it was all Kickstarter before that.
Yeah, Kickstarter and early access, and they famously have not had a paid update in basically ever.
Yeah,
and they asked the community what you want. The community was like, hey, we've gotten like a shit ton of free content from you. We're fine paying for like an expansion.
I've frozen to death in an ice lodge before, or a fishing lodge or whatever.
Yeah, so she's excited for some of the upcoming changes that they're going to be doing with the new paid DLC on that one.
I remember there was a wolf that would spawn in the dam every once in a while.
I don't know if that, I assume that's been fixed. I've not
I
heard
don't
her
know.
talk about that.
I just remember I would always go to the dam to hunt things, and sometimes there would be a wolf inside, and they named the wolf, kind of like they named the Reapers in Subnautica, you know?
Sure, yeah.
It was something the wolf, and it would just appear in the fucking dam, like interior.
Those fucking Reapers, man.
Yeah.
I was...
Sammy the Safety Reaper or whatever?
Yeah.
To keep you away from the radioactive ship.
Yeah. Speed of Subnautica, that still remains pretty high up on my list of like, if I ever had amnesia, like that would be a benefit.
Did you try it in VR yet?
I have not, because the controls don't work. Yeah. You have to play with a gamepad. You can't play with the for the Steam. Like it's a pain, and like we were trying to get it to work, and it was not working well with our.
Did you play it with a gamepad then?
We were trying to get mouse and keyboard or gamepad to work, and it was not.
That's what
we were
problem.
having trouble getting them to work. With the you apparently got to download like a mod manager and download a special VR mod for it.
Yeah, the VR was kind of janky for it for a while.
Yeah. I want to, because it sounds terrifying. I think it would legitimately turn Subnautica from like survival like exploration to like survival horror.
Yeah.
That game is
It sounds
terrifying.
horrifying, and that's why I do not want to do that.
One of the first times that like I was ever attacked by a Reaper in that game was like just disastrously terrifying.
Look, I remember how much just anxiety I felt just playing Alien Isolation with headphones on.
Oh my god, I know.
I
right?
have not.
I can't. No,
It is VR.
I know. Yeah, I know it is, but no, fuck that.
You just look down and be like, nah, that's not supposed to be there.
Yeah.
I still could never get past the first batch of human enemies in Alien Isolation.
I have not played
'Cause I
Alien
am
Isolation.
bad.
I just couldn't. My brain could not differentiate between the noise between the alien moving around on the ship and then the ship just settling.
Maybe
was
that's
just-
on purpose.
That is
I-
100%
Oh,
intentional.
100%. Yes. And so I was just on edge the entire time, and I'm like, I don't need this in my life.
My blood pressure is high enough. Thank
Yeah.
you very much.
I'm choosing to do this, so I'm choosing to stop.
I'm very close to 100%ing Vampire Survivors.
Nice.
Okay, nice.
The 1.0 patch for that just came out recently.
Need to play that again. Play some more of that on my Steam Deck.
They have added a like little checkbox system with every character to where you beat every scenario of like the 9 different maps and difficulty changes, I guess, on there. And it's just like,
Oh
I'm
god.
probably not going to do that.
Yeah.
But I have the entire collection complete, and then I think I've only got 3 or 4 different achievements left, and then that's it for Vampire Survivors, which is closing in on 50 hours on that one.
I saw it was on sale recently for $4 instead of $5, or $3 instead of $4.
Yeah, they did raise the price when 1.0 came out, and
Oh,
they actually
no.
raised it a little bit before 1.0 came out because. They were trying to get on a sale that was going to start, and there was rules about when you can put something on sale and when you raise the price, so people can't raise the price right before a sale and make it like it's like half off and it's $30, but they doubled the price before the sale to $60,
Oh, yeah.
and so you're paying the
Yeah.
exact same amount for the game or something like that. Yeah, it's to stop those shenanigans, but besides that, I've just been packing up everything. The living room's all packed up. There's a TV waiting to get moved. Most of the major furniture's emptied. It's just like clothes, bed, desk, and board games.
Yeah.
Which the board games
Yeah.
need to go.
Except we got to do a anniversary party.
Well, that's not going to happen in the next 7 days, so.
I mean, I'm free on Saturday. Do you need help moving anything?
I don't know. It would be like, remember the last time and it was like, hey, can you help me move? And it was like a mattress and a bed frame.
Yeah.
That's all it's
Do you
going
know
to be.
anybody who has a truck?
I do know someone who has a
Yeah.
truck.
And it was very easy. And I was able to use Epic's truck that time. I
Yes.
was like, here, help me move just these inside. And it was like 15 minutes of
Yeah, it was
effort.
like nothing.
Yeah. I like living that life.
Yeah.
But my TV is extremely more valuable this time.
And flimsier, I would assume.
Extremely
Yeah.
thin, but
Yeah.
also
Very
twice
heavy.
as heavy
Yeah.
as my last TV.
Yeah. It's crazy how
It's like,
thin these
it's
TVs
like
are.
55, 60 pounds or something like that.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah.
And like 30 to 40 of it is like just in the base plate because it's very, once again, very big, but very thin.
Super thin.
And so they got to make sure they center the weight down
Yeah.
so it doesn't.
So a cat doesn't take it down?
Yes.
Yeah.
I feel like my TV is not that heavy. Also very thin. Not as big as yours, I don't think, though.
Mine's a 65.
65.
I think mine's...
I could move my old TV by myself.
Yeah.
But like it had like grip to it. It was thicker. So I could grab like the sides and move it. But the side they're wafer thin.
Yeah.
Wafer?
That was a Monty Python reference.
Oh.
Yes.
I did not.
He didn't fuck it up like you do, Adrian.
Yeah.
I've never heard of the wafer thing.
It's the one where it's the guy, he's super fat and he's eating and he's throwing up in the bucket and he's like, oh, just one mint. It's wafer thin. And he's like, oh, fine. And then that was the thing that put him over the edge and he explodes because he
He was in
too much.
Meeting of Life.
Yeah.
Have not.
Okay.
It's
Have not seen.
Well, that's what happened in the movie.
Gotcha.
it's the movie that isn't Life of Brian or Holy Grail.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
I don't know if they did another one besides those three.
They probably did, but no one cares.
Anyhow, I'm on night shifts now, and it sucks.
Yeah, you're working 6 p.m. to 6 a.m.
I thought it was
Correct.
7 to 7.
It will be 7 to 7 in November.
So the time changes too.
It will permanently be 7 to 7 in November.
But 7 a.m. to 7 p.m.?
I will go back to days in November, right about the time that it switches to the 7 to 7.
Okay.
But then I will go back to nights again in December.
Yes.
But it'll stay 7 to
It'll
7.
be 7 to 7.
Just the other 7s.
Just the other 7s.
Yeah.
Yes. Once it switches to 7 to 7s, it will be 7s forever.
Got it.
It sucks because we aren't on. Well, I'm not working. I'm on night shift during it, but we're not on schedule for it's one of our nights off. Daylight savings is happening, so the night shift gets fucked on daylight
For the
savings.
last time, I think.
I don't know,
or at
if
least
that
for
ever
us.
got passed
Oh,
again
for
in the
Colorado?
house
I
or
don't know.
whatever.
I think it did.
And then that switched from 6 to 6 to 7 to 7 is our last night of night shifts. So our last night of night shifts for this cycle is going to be an hour longer because we got to stay till the new crew comes in at 7.
Gotcha.
So
It's an hour
that
extra
sucks.
pay at least. It's not like,
No, because I'm salaried.
oh, that's right, you're salary.
I'm salaried now.
Sucks to suck, right?
Yeah. Regretting all of my life decisions
Yeah.
that have led me to this point.
I know. I worked from 12 to 3 a.m. last night.
Was it part of it putting the episode out?
No,
Okay.
that
Well,
was before.
that's good.
That was before that. I did that at 9, and then I doom scrolled on TikTok for about
Yeah.
2.5 hours.
Okay, but there's a difference between doom scrolling and what you were doing. Doom scrolling is supposed to be like nightmare politics of just like Trump era, like,
Everything
world
about
is
the
over.
world is fucked.
Yeah.
and not just like sexy cosplays.
I wasn't looking at just sexy cosplays. Okay.
I recently picked up TikTok and they were like, you want to watch these things? And I was like, not really, but I will. It's not like what I'm here. It's not what I'm here for.
But I'm not
here
gonna
for like cool farm animal stuff
Yeah.
and like D&D memes.
Yeah.
But like then you can keep giving me the sexy things, and I don't have a way of being like less sexy things. But I'm also like, I'm okay.
And that's how they get you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And let you
that's
have
it.
That's how evil
Yeah.
succeeds, is by doing nothing.
I got TikTok because my friend Josh always wants to send me like weird TikToks.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm there for, but I'm not getting them enough. All I get is the sexy TikTok, and I want the weird TikTok.
You got? Are you liking the weird TikToks?
I am liking nothing.
Well, that's liking
Okay.
is yeah.
I need to like
Liking is
things.
yes.
Okay.
You need to like the weird shit.
I don't upvote. I don't downvote. I just passively enjoy content.
Yeah.
Well, because in that case, they're definitely going by how long you linger on a given
That's true.
thing.
That's
and-
very true.
You keep watching this one.
The same one over and over again.
This one in particular.
It's the only one that you've liked, because when you like something, it saves it for you.
I like the lockpicking TikToks.
Yes, that one's cool.
That one's it's lockpick lawyer
There,
or something like that.
I
yeah.
mean, I just watch his YouTube channel.
There is
well, now I'll just watch the YouTube. But
there's a
Lockpicking Lawyer is great, though.
roll for sandwich guy that I like a lot. He has a bunch of stuff, and he just like rolls dice to make some weird ass fucking sandwich every like 3 days a week.
The world is a strange place.
yes.
This is what we do as our civilization collapses.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Roll for sandwiches.
yeah.
And
Oh,
and
you know what's
pick
funny
locks.
is that
I like
that
cooking videos too.
that
I really like those.
exploded, and so I've seen pasta ones. I've seen like
Oh, of course it did.
yeah,
Anything that's popular.
drink ones. I've
gets
seen
killed.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Gets just murdered. Yeah.
I saw Black Adam.
Oh, yeah, we went and saw Black Adam.
It was a movie.
It was arguably one of the better DC
I would say one of the better
movies.
ones, but that doesn't mean I would not call it good.
It had good moments.
It had okay moments, and
It was too long.
it was too long. It had a very annoying kid character that couldn't act.
Yeah. Oh, my God.
Um,
That kid could not act.
For as much as The Rock was pushing for this character, like 10 years at this point, he really, I think he was like, I mean, I get that they were going for like the stoic sort of character of just like man at a time sort of thing, but it just nothing like one of The Rock's strengths is his charisma and a lot of
It did not
things,
come through
and
at
he didn't
all.
have any of it. He was just, how can I say, the least amount of stuff, just look like I'm sort of imposing, but like not standing. I'm just sort of floating there. And then that was him, the movie. Pierce Brosnan was good as Dr. Fate.
Yeah.
As was the guy that did Hawkman.
Yes.
I enjoyed that a lot. That character a lot more than I thought I would.
Yeah.
It's a lot better than the Legends of Tomorrow Hawkman. I'll tell you that for sure.
Yeah, I don't know.
Colorado has passed to stay on daylight savings time year round, but but there's no federal law that lets you stay on daylight savings time as you choose. There is only a law to stay on standard time if you so choose. So right now we are in waiting for a federal law that will let us stay on daylight savings time,
which is what I want.
Yes.
It's snowing in the mountains.
Yep.
I had to scrape my windows this morning when I
had to do it multiple times.
I saw
off
ice
work.
on mine. I didn't. It wasn't on my window, but it was on my roof and my hood. So I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, when I got off work, I had to scrape my windows today.
I've had to scrape my windows like 3 or 4 times now.
Really?
Yeah.
Apparently, so like this was like our first like big frost in Denver last night. It's like the second latest frost in like Denver history. So
it might snow on Thursday.
Yeah,
it might snow.
But it is snowing in the mountains. Resorts are showing snow stakes and snow on the ground, and so the
snow cameras are active,
and that is happening, and we're getting excited. Although because this is Colorado, really, what that means is that it'll snow enough now to get everybody excited. Then it won't snow for another month and a half to 2 months. All of the snow that has fallen will facet and become a persistent deep layer that will cause a bunch of avalanches and kill a lot of people, because that is what Denver snowpack does.
Fun.
Colorado.
Woo.
Not a lot of snowpack in Denver.
No.
No, it's all those Denver mountains.
Yeah.
You really got to watch out for those.
Green Mountain, that's about it.
Yep.
Well, that's Lakewood, really.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't have a lot else banter wise.
Jeff started watching something.
Oh yeah. Anime.
Yeah.
Yeah. Jeff hasn't even fully moved in with Zach, and it's bleeding over.
So I discovered that Hulu has a bunch of anime on there, which I knew before, but they have like new anime on there.
Yes.
And The Chainsaw Man is on Hulu.
That is correct.
And I watched the first 2 episodes, the only 2 episodes of that so far.
Yep, comes out on Tuesdays.
Yeah.
What have you thought so far?
It's cool. It's got a weird world of just like, demons are a thing. There's demon hunters and
devils. Devils.
Devils.
Basically everything that like devils are manifestations of fears. So like the first one you interact with is the tomato devil, because not many people are afraid of tomatoes. It was like weak, but like there's like darkness devils or
there's like a zombie devils,
or like there's a lot of things have
tryptophobia devils.
I'm sure there is
lots of little holes.
Most of
devils.
the devils are just that, because they have, well, even the tomato one, it had a lot of eyes.
Yeah, it did. It did.
But yeah, it's kind of like this sad story of this kid that gets sucked into paying off his dad's debt. And
is he the Chainsaw Man?
He will become the Chainsaw Man.
There, he's just a boy and his chainsaw dog.
Yes, he finds a chainsaw devil that is just this little cute orange dog with a chainsaw for a nose,
named Pochita.
And he befriends him because he's wounded, and he's like, "Drink my blood," and then they become friends. And then he's trying to make money, so he's using his chainsaw devil to like cut down trees to sell like wood and stuff like that.
But it's like he owes like 40
hundreds of thousands of yen, I would assume.
I think it's like tens of millions of yen.
His dad's debts.
Yeah.
I wish that the audio form of podcasting could convey the look of vague confusion on my face.
Yeah.
So he's spent all of his life in basically slavery to the Yakuza and just like killing devils and trying to pay off like his weekly debts.
Yeah.
And otherwise, then, like literally selling body parts to try and make up for stuff.
Yep. Literally the first panel of the manga, and so like the first part of the show is like, I sold my eye for 300,000. I sold my nut for 100,000.
I sold my kidney for 400,000. Yeah.
So in this world,
yes,
in theory, would there be devil versions of like some people? Like if you were like, afraid of someone.
Theoretically, yes. I don't know.
I don't know if there's been a like authority devil yet, but maybe.
Like, is there like a vague devil for like dad and mom? Like some people are afraid of their parents. Is there like a parents devil?
If there is, it hasn't been notified.
It's still
but
fairly
also,
new, right?
Yes. Well,
Only a couple years in the manga.
It's they just released a chapter like 104. So yeah,
Interesting.
also, but also there's no, I won't get into it.
Basically, he gets recruited by a devil hunting government agency, and then the story begins.
Yeah, he died,
Gotcha.
but then made a pact with Pochita, and Pochita became his heart, and now he has a ripcord on his chest,
Like a chainsaw,
Mhm.
and
and then he becomes Chainsaw Man.
he chainsaws,
3 chainsaws.
spouts out of his head and his arms.
Yes.
Yes.
I've seen an image
Yes,
There's a very good trailer.
of the Chainsaw Man.
yeah,
hmm
There's-
And then anime happens.
and then anime happens. Yes,
Yes.
On that note,
yeah,
And then I started watching Gundam and Gundam 8, Mobile Unit 8 or something.
the 8th MS
It's from
unit.
95.
Yeah,
okay.
It was recommended. I was like, oh, I'll watch this while I'm packing my desk. And I did. Listen, it was more listen to this because there was a
dubbed version.
there was a dubbed version, but it was 95 dubs, so it wasn't like as
Yeah.
it wasn't.
There's like a
at-
couple that were like real good at that time, but there's a lot of stinkers.
This one was fine.
Yeah.
Currently is fine.
Okay.
Like
But also I've learned that Gundam series, it's like, meh, it's just that one.
yes,
That's it. That's the whole story.
Yep.
We're moving on. New characters, new
100%.
nothing.
Yeah.
Hope you didn't get attached to those because we probably killed them off at the end. War as hell.
hmm
I
That-
can respect that.
Vast majority of anime are 13 or 24 or 26 episode
Yeah.
seasons.
And then they just murder everyone off at the end of every season, for the most part.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I can appreciate that.
Yeah.
That seems like a good way to do it. Right on. Shall we?
Did you ever watch? Have you started House of Dragon
I
at
have
all?
still not started Hot B.
Well, it just finished its first
finale,
season.
yes.
So you can now binge it whenever you want.
Yes.
I still have not gotten to the episode after the time jump,
I am sure that we will
the major time
start
jump.
watching it soon. The schedule sucks for watching shows. Like it used to be like something about working like 6 to 6. I'd get home at like 7 and like I'd be down to like watch a couple
Mhm.
episodes and go to bed at 9 and then get
Yeah.
up and do things again. But like the way this schedule works, like I come home, I'm so fucking tired, I just go right to sleep and then I wake up and it's just time to get ready for work. Like there's
Yeah,
no
that
more
is-
free time. On
That
night
is
shift.
why. Well, yeah. I mean, that's why I wouldn't want to do 12-hour shifts. Like regardless.
Yeah, 12s are not my ideal.
Yeah.
410s is my ideal. 410s are fucking great.
About 5/8.
Nope, fuck it.
What about 4 9s and then 1 6?
Also, no. The 3 days off is key for me.
Mm.
The 3 days off almost makes up for everything. Well, in 410 situation, it does. Like 8 versus 10 is not a noticeable difference to me, really. And having that extra day off is huge. Day shift, like the 12s for days hasn't been bad. Like I don't do shit really on the days I work, but I get so many extra days off because I'm only working like 50% of the days. Night shifts suck though, because like even today, like technically I'm off on today's schedule, but I worked yesterday, so it bleeds into today.
Mm-hmm.
So then I got home, went to sleep, woke up, it's podcast time, and then we're going to be done podcasting to be like 9 o'clock. The fuck am I going to do at 9 o'clock on a Monday? Like, go play video games all night because I don't want to like fuck up my sleep cycle for when I go back to work Wednesday night.
Yep. No game night for you.
Well, they want us to use they want us to use our PTO. So they are trying to say that they are going to roll over your first 50 hours of PTO. They or not roll over. They will cash out your first 50 hours. And anything above 50, they'll roll over.
Yeah.
Colorado state law will not allow them to do that. So there's about to be a battle. Because Colorado state law requires you to roll over 48 hours. But that means I have to get down to 48 hours by the end of the year, or I just get paid out for my PTO, and I don't want that. Like, I want to take time off with my PTO, so I might just take Monday or Wednesday off so I can go to game night. We'll see. But yeah, I might be taking a lot of time off over the next like month and a half, 2.5 months. We'll see.
Gotta burn it.
Gotta burn it.
Gotta burn it.
April. I cannot wait. I'm definitely leaving this job in April. I'm going to start looking in March
Oh, I see.
for a new job. And with
Why
plans to
April?
leave by the end of April. So last year, or this year, I guess technically, I got this job in February, which is in the middle of ski. Like March and April are like the main months for skiing, and like starting the new job like fucked skiing. And so I was already talking about like leaving this job, and Megan was like, can we wait till after the ski season, please? Like, if it's not unbearable for you, can you please just fight through the ski season? It's like, yeah, I guess I can do that.
Gotcha.
So, nights are going to fuck that up too, though. Nights are going to make ski season kind of suck. So we'll see.
Night skiing.
If only that was more of a thing.
Keystone a little bit, right?
Keystone a little bit. It is in other parts of, like in Michigan, like it's super common. Like all the resorts have a bunch of lights and stay open till like 8 o'clock.
They won't just let you loose into
the darkness.
The darkness with just like a headlamp, and then
I think there are crazy
Wolves.
bastards who do backcountry skiing at night, like with headlamps and stuff. But that, like, maybe if I know it's going to be a clear night with a bright moon, like I'd be willing to do that. But
that would have
like
lot of reflective light.
yeah. But still, it's not something I'm going to do regularly. And Megan doesn't want to go night skiing. She wants to be asleep at night.
Here's what you do is that you just drag her behind you in like a
toboggan.
Toboggan sleeping pod.
Ski patrol training.
Yeah, there you go. What can go wrong?
I'm sure Jester will just be running, or she'll just be in there with Megan.
So fresh off the
developers,
fresh off the presses, fresh off the webs. Comment on episode 279.
16 minutes ago.
Paulo
like
says
during the episode.
Yeah. Paulo says, I really dislike the dirty politic cards in Campaign Trail. It's too swingy for me, and for me, not fun at all. I really love this game, still waiting to receive my new copy of it, but man, the horror stories with missing components in the pledges is worrisome. I have not heard of any missing components. Just my rulebook was fucking wrecked.
I have my copy, but I haven't opened it yet. So
you probably should.
I know.
I had someone message me on BGG because I'd made a comment on the pledge manager or on the Kickstarter, like, hey, my rulebook was all fucked up. And somebody found me on BGG. It was like, hey, are you the same person who did that comment? I'm just curious, like, have you contacted them and what did they say? Which they basically said we have to wait for everything to get shipped out and us to get all of our like spares in, and then we will send you a new rulebook. So
in the meantime, they do have the deluxe thing that you can load on your phone and then have it somehow need to load every single time.
Yeah, man. It was so frustrating.
Yep. That's it, I think.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that is indeed it. Did anybody check spam?
No.
Sometimes things end up in spam. Nope. Just spam.
Weird.
You don't want some full website
design? No.
Yeah.
I mean, we probably should, but yeah, and that was.
Look,
bullshit.
Robin Lucas might have some very intimate.
Nope. They added me to a big group conversation that was clearly.
But there's 9 digits at the end of their Twitter username.
Yeah.
How could you not trust that?
Exactly. They're definitely not a bot. All right. Well,
Speaking of ways to get a hold of us,
you can send us emails.
Emails at milehighgameguys.com.
You can find us over on Twitter, where I tweet under at MHGameGuys.
Zach_MHGG.
Jeff_MHGG.
We have Instagram. We don't use it. We have Facebook. We don't use it. But they're both at MHGameGuys.
It's no, the videos or the episodes aren't getting posted to Facebook anymore, right?
Nope, because Facebook abandoned that almost as quickly and unassumingly as they launched it.
Yes.
They were like, hey, we're going to start doing podcast episodes now.
Please do all these things. Nah, never mind. We're all done here.
And then they went, turns out nobody wants to use Facebook to listen to podcasts. Who fucking knew?
Yeah.
Board
Game Geek Guild 2731.
That is correct. And you can join our Slack channel by finding the link in the show notes, which should show up on your podcast app of choice. If it does not, you need a better podcast app that shows hyperlinks in show notes or show notes in general. Yeah, think that's about it.
Yes, it is.
Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. We will be back next week in studio with another recording that you can watch live on Twitch, twitch.tv/MHGameGuys. That's one more thing I forgot to plug.
Yep.
So now I've plugged it, and I can leave. As always, I've been your host, Adrian.
I am still Zach.
And I'm Package Jeff.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.